Here we go.
James Madison. Will we be seeing his name for the World Cup after another amazing display? Bournemouth give up a 2-goal lead to Leeds as Jesse marches on to another week. Brighton showing that the magic has been with them the entire time. Now with Harry Potter. Man City on the verge of dropping points, but they call upon the man, the myth, the hero, Haaland. Obviously. Obama who?
Obama what?
Exactly. Arsenal back on top.
Nothing personal.
Nothing personal, you know. Good evening and good night. It's exactly what Unai Emery said to Eric Ten Hag as soon as they walked on the pitch that day and walked away with a 3-1 victory. Newcastle top 4? Question mark? Uh-oh. And Tottenham half spur. Half spur. Half. Meaning they only play for half of a game for the past 10 games. As Liverpool walk away with the 2-1 win, but as soon as that Champions League draw was announced, FSG go running away. We are the Benchwarmers. I am one of your hosts. My name is Eric.
Nick.
John, a.k.a. Gat.
Marco.
What's going on, guys?
Polo.
How are you?
Very
Good.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Oh,
The
thank
intro.
you.
That was a
Thank
good
was
one.
good.
We'll work that, bro.
Well, nothing can top that poem one.
Oh,
That
for
was
sure.
the best one.
That one requires a little more jazz cigarettes and actual jazz to get done.
Oh, no,
But-
you might have a calling with some creative writing.
Well, should I go do some slam poetry one day?
Let's do it.
But look, man, we have a lot to go over. We got some Premier League recap, just to kind of give you guys a schedule of what's coming up. We have World Cup conversation coming up very, very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. I mean, it's 2 weeks away.
Next Sunday.
13 days.
So, yes, we will have that episode coming out, I would say early to late this week, early next week. And we hope to have multiple guests on here. So it should be entertaining. And let us know what questions you have on the World Cup, what issues you have with the World Cup, everything. Just shoot us a DM, tweet us. All that is in the description down below. And, yeah, slap that like button, the subscribe button, and we appreciate it. It goes a long way. Let us know when you want to come on the bench and share your voice. But I do have an opening question for you guys. And well, it's more like a 2 opening questions. It's a twofer. One's kind of just like on a personal note because I want to know maybe I should do this side hustle, and 2 is to kind of get the gears rolling into the actual footballing content of what we're about to do. But before that, do you guys have anything you want to say? You seem super excited today.
Yeah, it's a decent bit of news today. So
Decent bit of. Oh man, bro, zero appreciation. But we'll get in. All right, so I guess my first question to you guys is, I'm trying to find a side hustle. All right, and this isn't an infomercial, so I know it might sound like one, but I'm thinking about
You
going
need to bring those back.
for real. I need to find a side hustle, and I've been thinking about going to, because look, there's a lot of services that people provide that they can get some decent money out of. And I've seen a couple of videos I've seen people doing interviews of people how they how much do you have in your account? Just like those joking videos.
Mucho TikTok.
Yeah, too much TikTok, man.
Mucho TikTok.
That's my
bro.
toilet content, bro. When I'm sitting down, going, doing what I gotta do, I'm just scrolling, seeing what I see, and then I saw somebody say they had like fucking so much money in the account for selling feet pictures, bro. How would you guys say if I got a pedicure and started selling my feet pictures?
You should do it 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If you would buy that, let me know. With no faces, just straight feet.
Repeat.
If you wanted, like all rugged and dirty, I could do that very easily. If you want a nice and
Yeah, the style, bro. You do a clean one now, and then
where-
you do like a dirty one like right after.
kind of like a before and after.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can wear Crocs and sneakers for like a week straight, and then just sell the actual shoe.
Oh, that's disgusting.
my question
You say
is,
that,
Work
but
out,
there's a market.
and make
I
sure that
guarantee
you're
you, there's
There's a market for that.
You have hairy feet,
I mean,
enough
hairy
hair, like
feet.
some hairs on your feet. Like,
I mean, I
you
have
can do
some
one.
hairs on my
You can do
feet.
like a hairy one and then shave it, and then
I mean, what's hairy feet though?
I don't know.
I don't think I've seen that Harry
I've
feet.
I don't know.
I'm
All I
just
know,
saying
all I know,
foot.
he said he's seen it. So I don't know. I'm gonna question Marco a little bit here.
I've seen hairy feet. I have uncles. Of course, I've seen hairy feet.
My question. I want to get into the intricate side of this, right? Because anyone who wants to see feet pictures and do whatever they want with it, we don't know,
Everybody has their own.
right?
Has their own. You know.
They can just search up feet on Google, right? So my question is like, how do you build a relationship with someone?
Oh, so you
So,
said
like-
I talk to them.
Exactly. Like, all right. So, like, for example, let's say
Start
I'm
off
like
with
some-
IG, bro. Start with IG.
Let's-
And just like little small like clips of your
Little-
feet.
Right. All right. Let's say I'm like
I
some.
see what you're
Let's say
saying.
I'm like some weirdo on the internet, right? And I want to see someone's feet pics, right? All I can do is just go on Google or whatever,
Yeah,
just
you're
on
right.
YouTube, search up feet pics.
Yeah,
But why do I want to see your
that's
feet.
and pay for your fee.
exactly
Ah.
pay for your
Damn,
feet when
so
I
I
can
gotta
search it up on
market
Google?
myself.
So
You
it,
do?
it applies to any, like you said, service you're providing. So, but
Damn,
that's the other
you
side.
threw a wrench in my thinking right now. Obviously, he has a relationship with somebody who he looks.
Clearly, clearly.
He knows why to ask that question.
That's a good question. You threw a wrench into my side hustle, so I guess I won't be doing that. 'Cause I'm not starting a relationship over some feet pictures. But now for the more footballing question that I have for you guys, and I'm just bringing this up. I just want to, just like, no, don't get too in deep. We have more of this conversation happening soon, so just a quick summary of how you're feeling and how excited are you guys for the World Cup? Simple as that.
Extremely excited. Just issues and stuff, politics aside.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm also ecstatic. From a Liverpool fan, I just want to break from watching Liverpool, and I think a World Cup is just perfect time. Arsenal fans probably don't want to break
I
from
don't
watching.
wanna
I don't want to break.
But
I'm not excited at all. I don't like it. I don't like it. That's now. I hate it. My summers are being involved with World Cups. Doing it now, it just doesn't feel the same.
Oh yeah, no, I hate
I
the
hate
fact
it.
that it's in the winter and these 5 a.m. matches every now and then during the group stage is gonna suck when it's like
I'm still
20,
gonna watch them.
20 degrees outside. I'm still gonna watch them, but it's the World Cup every 4 years.
yeah.
I agree with it doesn't feel the same, but I don't know when that Qatar, Ecuador, or Qatar, Ecuador match kicked us off. I'm like, damn, this is like World Cup. You know what I mean, so.
I hope to feel that, but I'm kind of the same boat like you are. Like it's for me, the World Cup has always been like a summer event. Like, oh, we get together, watch the games together, have a barbecue
Barbecue,
together,
yeah.
have,
Is
get
it
some burgers
me,
or whatever.
Also, I personally don't feel that's a lot of market out there for it. Like marketing, like commercials.
thing is
like
that
in
the
the past, it's
marketing-
always been like
yes,
that.
yes.
I feel like
the
I
thing is
agree
the-
with that.
Commercial here, songs.
Mm.
Like apparently there's a song for it, and I don't even haven't even
Dude,
heard it yet.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's For I like speed songs better.
Yeah, that's
But
becoming-
the thing, and maybe that's a conversation we can have for that episode. But just I guess
Yeah,
just a
pick
quick
it off. For,
top of my head, I could only think of is the more they promote it, the more light there will be on the other side of the bad things that are happening there. So it's
That
like,
could
we'll
be.
promote it just to get the attention. Everybody knows the World Cup pretty much, but we won't promote it too much because people are gonna start asking, maybe looking deeper into what happened here.
I mean,
There's a whole documentary on Netflix about it.
I'll leave, I know like perfect timing, and then you guys said scroll up. I get it or whatever. but my question to you, and we can leave it for next week, is: do you guys think the viewership is going to drop this year? The viewership is going to drop this one,
I would say yes.
because I think the last one was
1.3
1.3 billion.
I don't think so.
1.3 billion. What?
I
Like
don't
the final
think so.
watched, or
I don't know if it
I
was
think
the
it was
combined,
the
I could've
combined
been the
average
final.
or
I
something
think
it was
like that.
final.
I don't think so. The World Cup has always been one
Yeah.
of it always competes for like the most watched a sporting event.
Yeah. Maybe it won't drop just because, 4 years ago, I'm sure there's more fans now of football than there was back
That's
then.
true.
So
I mean, it has
I'm
grown.
Sure, there will be more viewers.
If there was commercial and marketing about it, it would drop. But there hasn't been anything.
Okay,
So to a lot of casuals, oh, it's the World Cup.
Yeah.
All right.
I could sound incredibly stupid right now, but obviously the most populated continent is Asia, right? And obviously Qatar is in Asia. It's India and China are the two most populated countries in the world. I don't know the time difference between Qatar and China and India, but what I would like to assume is that like during the World Cup, like for example in Brazil, I assume that watching football for them was kind of difficult. Like China, Singapore, Indonesia, India, that like Southeast
Right,
Asia and
yeah.
whatnot. So I mean,
a fair
it could
point.
be a lot more easier for viewers in Asia to view the World Cup. I don't know what the viewings were on the World Cup in South Korea. I'd be interested to see what those were like. But I'd be very interested to see just because, yes, Russia obviously in Asia as well, but those are very close to India and China. Not very close, but
That's a fair point. That's a fair
I
point.
mean, in terms of, I don't know. I want to say there is a bit of viewership going to drop that tad bit probably because the politics or whatever, but more on Marco's point where I just don't feel like there's been that much promotion, that much like commercial and like advertising for like for example like 2014 Rio.
Oh.
I remember everything was like maybe because it was just like Brazil and like summer and like festival and vibes and all like that, but like it's just like everything was thrown at you. Boom, boom, boom.
Like,
World Cup, World Cup.
this doesn't give you any vibes. This doesn't give any vibes. It just feels like another tournament. A big tournament, but it doesn't feel like, to me at least, it doesn't feel like the World Cup right now.
I think we can dig a little deeper on
But-
how our feelings are for next recording when we actually do cover the World Cup.
Yeah,
But I mean, this is a good start. This is a good start. We're gonna have a lot of questions for that episode specifically.
So look, our feelings aside for the World Cup, let's talk about our feelings for this past weekend.
Ooh,
Let's get into the weekend. Let's get
No,
into
we don't have to.
kickoff, baby. Good evening and good nights. But we're not starting off with that game. We're starting off with Everton-Leicester game, where Leicester win 2-0. I just really want to shout out James Madison here on the brace of assists. They actually, I was kind of curious to find. I mean, I looked at the table. You know, I haven't really looked at the table too often because I know Arsenal are after once. But looking at the points that Leicester have right now, they're tied with West Ham, Leicester, and Everton are all tied on 14 points, just 2 points ahead of relegation. That is not where I was expecting either one of those teams, to be honest with you.
You see, I mean, I know I saw a graphic. I think it might have been before this weekend's game, but like literally, like the bottom, like literally, like the whole second half of the table, like any single one of them could easily drop into relegation. It's ridiculous how close everything is.
How did you? You're a big James Madison fan. I hear you mentioning him a lot on every episode.
All I have to say is he has more goal involvement in terms of goals and assists than Mickey Mount. So
Do you expect to see him in the World Cup?
No.
Damn.
I
because it's Southgate.
That's a whole. We'll say that conversation for.
yeah,
I wanted to kind of
yeah. But I feel like the Everton, like, didn't they struggle last season? They were struggling this. I didn't see a difference from last one. This one.
Everton are still.
So we already had talked about it. So that one doesn't. Leicester City, I understand, but Everton, I feel like it's just rolling over to this season. It's just gonna continue being like that.
To you, they're a bottom half team
Right now, hell yeah.
Even
will
though,
they stay out of it? Maybe. But
even though technically they are,
One of the
if
biggest
not
clubs.
the best amongst the best defensive teams in the league in terms of goals conceded.
Who?
Everton.
I don't know how.
Yeah, they've conceded, if not the least goals, they're tied with probably City most likely, but they're up there.
It's crazy.
They're up there.
They just can't score.
They just can't score, but they can defend apparently.
that will get you 1 point every game.
So speaking of like mid-table or whatever, but does anyone want to change their relegation
100%.
predictions?
100%.
Because I know I had
Fulham.
Bournemouth, and Everton. I still believe Bournemouth would get relegated.
Yeah.
I don't remember who. I know I had Everton and Forest. I just don't remember who my third one was.
I had Fulham, Forest, and I forget who else.
I think I had Leeds. Did I have Leeds?
I think you did have.
We
Leeds.
should go back. We should go
The
back
way
to
you
that.
had
We should go back to that
I think
episode.
I think I remember saying that. It would hurt my heart saying it, but I
We'll
think
go back to that
Leeds
episode. And try
Because
to
right
get
now
our
it's
predictions.
Southampton in 18th, Wolves in 19th, Forest in 20th. I still believe Wolves would be safe. I think they have a lot of quality in the team, even though they can't score. And same thing with Leicester. They just have a lot of quality players who just, over time, just like bail the manager or bail the system out. So if I were to change it, like I said, I still think they have. I know the whole Roy Hodgson thing where he said with Liverpool when he was in charge of Liverpool, you're never too good to go down. I think West Ham will be fine. But if I were to
should be
change
fine.
it, I'd probably put Forest in there
Mm-hmm.
and keep Bournemouth, and then
Southampton.
Yeah, but I think this one,
Manager.
probably Southampton.
this
probably.
conversation, the bottom three, I think we should definitely leave it for like mid-table,
Well,
mid-season.
I think that's gonna be a good breaking
Comeback.
point on Wednesday because that is the last episode before the World Cup. So we can.
That's not mid-season though, is it?
It's not midseason, but it's mid-season.
Yeah.
It's a break.
It is a break. It is a break.
But I mean, the reason why we brought up the whole table right now, the relegation zone, because it's so close, and there's a lot of teams who aren't in the relegation zone who are doing a lot better. For example, Fulham. They were, I believe, in 7th place prior going into the weekend. Where are they now?
They are 9th.
Not top 10 still.
They're tied on points with Liverpool and Palace, and 2 points behind Chelsea and Brighton.
I had a manager being the first one sacked, and he's right. They brought it to Man City without Mitrovic. how good are they right now? And did you guys even expect this from them? At least on my end, as you can hear, I did not expect this at all.
I think one of the reasons why most people didn't expect it was just because they came up so many times from the championship, like finish first or either win the playoffs, get promoted to the Premier League, spend a bunch of money. For example, like 2018, 2019, I remember they got promoted. They spent like 90 million plus on players and then went immediately straight back down. I think that's happened for like 4 or 5 times already. So people were just like, all right, they're gonna just do the same thing. But I guess people never really like analyze our actual team. And I could say manager because Silva did a poor job at Everton, but I guess people didn't, like I said, really analyze their team. And I mean, with the additions of like Paulinho and even Issa Diop, who was decent at West Ham, like there's not a bad team there. The only real like player who I don't rate is Ream, Tim Ream, the U.S. American.
he's
center back.
good.
You think he's good?
I think he looks very comfortable on the ball,
Yeah, maybe he has.
and defensively he looks very sound.
Maybe he's having one of those seasons where he just automatically or just randomly just like pops up. But
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons at least coming into this season. I didn't realize at all that they signed Vinicius from Tottenham.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's on loan, but yeah, no, Fulham obviously doing an amazing job. And
Pereira
Wait.
has been a revelation for them.
yeah,
Leno is not doing too bad.
No, he's doing good.
but yeah, and then Willian as well. I don't know how he's been playing, but just Willian. I never
He's
thought
he's
he'd come into
still
the
he's
league.
still very on and off. He'll have a he not this one. I think the game prior he had a really good game, but he's not consistent. But no, I mean it's anytime you go up against Man City, it's always surprising to see a team like Fulham actually giving them a run for their money. But I mean, you also have to keep in mind, I mean, that it is such a compact schedule. So yes, City have the depth for it, but they're still gonna start to feel it. Everyone
So-
is feeling it.
Would you say Fulham drop points given that they were a man up, or are Man City just that good in your book that you're not surprised they still brought it to them and got the 3 points?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised.
I'm not
either
surprised.
when City. I was kind of surprised they won, a little bit. Obviously, it was last minute, but I wasn't surprised in terms of like
Dominance.
and dominance. I didn't think they'd lose. I just got that feeling that they're just not gonna lose. So it probably has to do with the fact, obviously, Fulham were probably gonna sit in, and then I mean the last thing you want to do against City is sit in the deep block when you're, albeit City had a man down, but either way, the attacking prowess of those City players just inevitable.
I
If
mean,
Mitrovic played and City goes a man down,
different story.
then Fulham
Yeah.
drop points.
Then
Mi
wait,
mitro, mi mitro.
wait, what do you mean?
Because Mitrovic didn't play. So
Wait,
if
you mean Fulham drop points or City?
if
No, he's saying-
Mitrovic had played the full 90 minutes
This game would be
with
considered-
City still going down a man, then I would have considered it Fulham dropping points.
right now he's saying he's not surprised that they
I'm
lost.
so confused.
So I asked him the Nick, go.
You good?
Dropping points?
No, look.
What you
I
mean
asked-
the other way around?
No, I asked him this. Would you consider this game for Fulham a drop in points?
Oh, okay. Okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought you were saying like my bad, listeners. I thought you were saying Fulham dropping points of like because they had Mitrovic.
No,
No, no,
If
no.
he played, then they would have been a completely
He
different
would have
story.
expected a win from them.
Yeah.
At that point, which
Yeah.
I actually mi mitro. But I mean, Marco, how being that we are in a title race right now, how upset are you seeing that all Man City gotta do is just throw in a player named Haaland and then they get a goal automatically?
I mean, wasn't this guy supposed to be injured in what was it, 10 games? How many did he miss? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Or
One,
two.
One.
one, and this
And
one was
technically-
he
and
walked
then
in
was
for
rested
what?
For Champions League.
Yeah.
And he came on and had a goal where like a header right off the rip.
If this is the expectation of injury that you guys were expecting, and I'm more leaning towards one person, and the other one usually sits on this side.
Oh shit!
Uh,
fired.
He's not getting injured at all. Then
You know what's funny about that is that today we recorded last Wednesday and like the day of whole injury things. I checked Twitter. I think it was that night or the next morning, and it's literally a picture of Erling Haaland in City training already. So like,
Yeah.
yo, what's
so I'm
Fucking
expecting him
bullshit,
to
man.
play this next game. He's out because he's not part of the World Cup. Just train and recover, and then he's back in for what is it? Boxing Day, I think it's the
Boxing
Boxing
Day.
6, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's good. He lost one day
Isn't that crazy?
for
Isn't
the
that-
10 games that he was going to be missing.
he's gonna have
Predicted
a whole resting period just to get even
Better.
healthier, stronger.
Yeah. If anything he needs to do, any injury he could have had, perfect timing. Perfect timing. So seeing him be brought in the last minute just to score a fucking penalty, yeah, it aggravates the shit out of me because I would have loved for them to at least tie that game.
Well, Nick, what'd you say? That you feel bad for our Arsenal fans already?
No, because I saw a lot of tweets saying, oh, now I know what Liverpool fans felt like having to challenge with City for 4 years and then having to watch City every week just for them to win a game. So I'm just saying, like, for anyone listening, an Arsenal fan or Arsenal fans here, just like, if you guys are still in title race come February, April, I just would advise just don't watch City games.
I mean, that's good advice.
That's fair. That is fair. But yeah, man, Man City walk away with 3 points at the end of the day. Haaland inevitable. He's gonna score a goal. I will talk about that when that game comes, but it's just crazy to see the levels this team has. Even with 10 players, they can still just compete.
Cancelo's an idiot.
Oh yeah.
Cancelo's an idiot. We'll
agree with that.
We'll probably touch upon the consistency of why this was called and some other ones were not. But
yes, but what do you guys think?
Cancelo's still an idiot.
I agree with the call. Honestly, I can't find a way not to agree with the call.
And you've said this a million times. When you slow it down, it always looks worse as it is. Just as it happened, fine. Fuck it. It was great. It looked like it was just purely shoulder. Of course, when they slow it down, you see he does get his arm across. So, yeah, fine.
Yeah,
it's a pen.
Yeah. It's
But
one of those pens that is strictly by the book.
Right.
You know, it's not a gray area kind of pen. It's not like, oh, it could have been. Nah, it's last man found from behind.
He was like 20 minutes or so in. Like, why?
Yeah. So it was, to me, it was the pen that was strictly based off the rules. But yeah, we'll question the consistency in that a little bit later. But I mean, even without Cancelo, for all you fancy people who had him, sorry to you guys, but
I got rid of him.
yeah, Man City it's just another team you can't stop them. But we move on to another team that can't be stopped, and that's Jesse Marsh and Leeds United. Another win, a great comeback second half. Although he was already getting booed in the first half, which sucks to hear.
Booed?
He was getting booed at the end of the first half.
Hey, why?
Because
Leeds
Bournemouth were up 2-0
Yeah.
in the first half.
And Leeds fans aren't really giving them much slack. It feels like, at least from this side of the pond, right? But
Yeah, and then Bournemouth, I don't remember the exact statistic, but it's more along the lines of Bournemouth are the first team in Prem history to lose consecutive games after being up by 2 goals.
that was my question. How do you guys feel if Bournemouth's making a habit of this? Is this like, look, they're getting the goals, they're getting the leads. They were ahead of Spurs, right? And that
2-0, and then they were ahead 3-1, and then they lost 4-3.
So it's not like they're not scoring goals, and again taking the lead, but
This will probably cost them at the end of the season as well. These 2 games, like 6 points.
against good oppositions
Yeah,
too.
and they'll probably be in a relegation battle. 6 points there's a lot of teams out throughout history who would have gotten 6 points. They would have been safe. So that'll probably cost them at the end of the season.
Yeah, think about this is a relegation battle between Bournemouth and Leeds because Leeds are close to the bottom relegation zone as well. A win against Spurs were points they probably weren't considering they were gonna have. So yeah, these losses could definitely impact them towards the end of the season. So we'll see what happens with Bournemouth. But Jesse Marsh, keep doing what you're doing, make us proud, and hopefully you don't get sacked soon. But let's move on to the London Derby, baby. Unfortunately, no Chelsea fans here, but we will have one on Wednesday, as confirmed by my text message earlier. We'll reignite this conversation then. But Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. Obama who?
Obama what?
Exactly. Will Potter. We'll start off with Chelsea first, and then we'll get into what's looking good at Arsenal right now. And my first question to kick it off here for Chelsea, that is, will Potter get the time he needs?
I think it's going to depend on how the transfer window goes for him, because it's starting to get pretty clear that what he's trying to implement, he might not have the right players for what he wants to do. So he keeps just trying to drop players into certain positions. Like we haven't. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've had the same formation with the same players in the same positions more than just the one game. The next game, it's always somebody else is playing wing back now. That's slightly different. Like the whole trio up top is like there's always at least one of them that's always different. So like, it depends on how the transfer window goes. It seems like he needs a certain set of players for what he wants to do, which is surprising considering the quality that's in Chelsea. So either he needs a whole set of players, a new set of players, or he really needs to rethink his tactics and then just try to make it work.
And just to add on to that, I think in terms of answer your question, will he get the time he needs? I think yes. I don't think, regardless of how Chelsea do poorly, I don't think he'll get sacked from now until the end of the season, or at least into the start of the summer, just because I think he will get his transfer window in terms of getting the players that he does want. Because I believe Tuchel got sacked. I know it was Zagreb away, and that was like maybe like a week after the transfer window closed, and then Potter comes in, and then he's dealing with players who, it's like the whole oh, it's like this. What was the manager? It might have been Arteta when he came in and he didn't get the managers who or the players he wanted. He had to deal with the players who when Arteta came in and he obviously he didn't buy Pepe and
Yes.
the players that Emmy bought or whatever. So same thing with like Potter. So in terms of answering your question, I do think he'll get the time he needs. And then in terms of after next summer, I mean we don't know. So
Yeah.
And then definitely as well, I mean, not to use this as an excuse because it happens with every club. The injuries are just not helping Potter at all. And then specifically, like I think probably the biggest miss, and not just Reece James because their fullbacks are a
Chilwell.
huge part of what Chelsea has done, but they're really missing Conte. They're really missing N'Golo Conte right there in the middle. They're missing that engine. They're missing that one person that can just hold it down.
well, it's funny you say it because there's a lot of Chelsea fans who have mixed opinions on him at least now because of his last. I mean, it's because obviously injuries and obviously he's not the same player as he was. But I mean, after when they won the Champions League, that whole knockout where like they beat Madrid, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, I think it was Porto. Like he was, and obviously in the final against City, he was amazing. And then after that, he kind of just declined. And then like I guess opinion on N'Golo Kante from Chelsea fans that from that period, not obviously his old Chelsea career, but I forgot what I was
But
gonna say.
at least N'Golo Kante was an established starter that can
Do a
at
job.
least
Yeah, obviously,
control the
yeah.
midfield. Like you never have the same two in the midfield right now. So it's that they're missing that one person that can be the fixture.
But I remember. I just think the whole decision. I think everyone agreed that Thomas Tuchel did not deserve to get sacked.
No.
Just because, like, how you gonna sack a manager literally a week after he got the players that he wanted, and then they bought Josko Gvardiol, or they're bidding like 90 million for a player that he wanted next summer, and they're probably still gonna get that player. And now Thomas Tuchel isn't gonna be the one who can coach him because obviously he's not there. So the whole like plan of like getting rid of Thomas Tuchel, bringing someone new in, and then just bringing a manager in who didn't have the players who he wanted is just like so like messed up. I never understood that. Like I just said,
Just
everyone
the way.
agreed. Everyone agreed. Yeah, facts.
That's just-
Everyone agreed that Thomas Tuchel did not deserve to get sacked. So
But look, Potter's magic has quickly ran out at the bridge, and
can we talk about Aubameyang now?
okay, you're actually right. We talked about it yesterday. He actually only had 8 touches. I thought he had 4 for some reason.
Only 8 touches,
No,
yeah.
four in the first half.
4 in the first half. Okay, so only 8 touches total in the game. Man,
He's an inside agent. He's trying to help you guys out.
They was talk about. So wait, what is it? What does he want? What do you want to mention?
I want to make. It's just funny because when Arsenal won, or when Arsenal celebrated their goal, they like
You saw
celebrated
that?
around him, and then plus he liked Troops'
Yes.
post about like saying some
Nothing
bullshit, and he
personal.
liked it. And then I saw on Twitter today that apparently he had a Spider-Man mask behind like Ramsdale's goalpost. So like just in case he would score, he'd put on the Spider-Man mask. I don't know what Spider-Man mask has to do. Like
I think it's for his kids.
yeah,
he
maybe.
does Black Panther. He does all the heroes for his
Yeah.
kids.
Okay. And just the whole like Obama, and then obviously the video before where he says nothing personal.
Yeah, dude, oh man, I kind of want to ask you, Marco, this. How do you feel the players feel about Aubameyang? Because to me, it looked like he was still a very popular figure amongst them.
I mean, as a friend, I think as a friend, they still like him, and they got along really well with him as a friend and as a teammate. But like and like with everybody, you can be friends with a team player that ends up leaving, and you play against them. You're gonna fight. You're gonna go at it. You can be really cool, but you still have to you represent one team and I represent another one, and we're gonna go at it. And at the end of the day, there's gonna be a little bit of hard feelings, but that's the name of the sport. And if you don't like it, well, don't be part of it. But I think that all of them have that understanding that regardless of what team you're in, we could be close, but that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna give 100% and while I fight for my team.
Yeah,
And you left us, so it's your fault.
that's actually something I wanted. Like that, I feel like kind of also drive these players to a convincing 1-0 victory, and then maybe this could be like our way into Arsenal as well. But still on the Aubameyang, after he gave that interview where he said, "I thought I can't manage big players." After he did that promo, it's nothing personal. I'm Chelsea. I'm blue. Whatever he said. If the Prime documentary taught us anything, Arteta knows how to use ammunition, especially after that Brentford tweet, Ivan Toney tweet. I can imagine him just telling these players, this guy literally thinks he's better than all you. That you guys aren't big
No,
players.
you know what he did?
And he's the only big player here.
That fucking tweet or whatever that and was that and ended up on the whiteboard.
That's what I'm saying. Like
That
he
shit
he
was on the
used that
whiteboard.
to
Oh,
drive
hell
the
yeah.
players. Because Lundy came out a few days ago saying we no longer have big egos in the club. We're all one. We're all a big family. You take a Aubameyang out of that. You go back to the Aubameyang days. Which look, I still love the guy. He's just a character that you just like, but he's not meant for the footballing team that you have now. That ego was obviously something that was holding these players back. And dude, the way they celebrated, like Nick said, they went around him. Gabriel
They
Magalhaes
started on one
tweeted-
side
yes,
and then they were like,
they
no,
all
we're going to this way.
hovered
They
around
went
him.
around him, through him, and then ended up in the other post.
Yeah, and then Magalhaes tweeting afterwards, it's nothing
Nothing
personal,
personal.
nothing is red. It's like, okay, these guys definitely took it personal and used that fuel to
100%.
to just dominate the game. And it's kind of crazy that these players are, I mean, obviously they're human at the end of the day, but they use social media just like we do, and that drives them probably just as much as it drives us up the wall.
Yeah, because you have
sometimes.
to consider all the retweets and the likes and all the bullshit and the comments, positive or negative, they're going to receive. It's still going to boost up the tweet. And people like ourselves are going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
So definitely it's going to be a big factor of what they do, what they say, and how they end up looking at. Like,
So yeah, Aubameyang, nothing personal, but we will take the 3 points at the bridge. We are making Stamford Bridge our training area now at this point with
I
3.
saw a nickname was like Stanford Hut. Instead of Stanford Bridge.
Dude, I mean, what? That's 3 consecutive wins at the bridge now. So we're on to something good there. Now let's bring it over to Arsenal real quick. I wasn't asked Chelsea top 4 ? But we'll save that for a little bit after, like Marco said, when we get to the halfway point. But Arsenal showing another level of performance with a 1-0 victory, but still, I mean, at least from our perspective, at least my perspective, I wasn't nervous at all. Not at one point did I feel like, okay, they're growing into the game. It never really felt like that. I don't know how you guys felt while watching the game.
Just felt like you went in there, you knew you had to get the job done. You got the job done. You left. On to the next one.
Very professional.
Mm-hmm.
Very professional. And I just want to quickly shout out 2 pairings. Not 2 pairings, sorry, but a pairing and 2 individual players. Gabi and Saliba are just forming a world-class partnership in the back. And Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, but the year that Liverpool won the title, how many goals did Van Dijk and Matip walk away with? I don't know. Well, I'm pretty sure they, if I'm not mistaken, they were like one of the highest scoring center backs in the league that year. So if there's anything that we could take away from this and these set pieces that we're getting goals from, it's not a coincidence. It's not a mistake. These are happening for a reason. And if we're Nick will confirm this, but if we look back at that Liverpool season, which I'm pretty sure they won, Van Dijk and Matip were the highest scoring center backs. So it's good to see Gabriel getting another goal added onto his tally. But 2 players who we gotta mention, gotta appreciate them for what they do. I've mentioned his name a lot already this season, Granit Xhaka. I mean, it's
without a doubt.
he's looking prime Yaya Toure right now. I don't care what anybody says. He's looking like a fucking prime box-to-box midfielder that none of us expected. None of us expected that. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, yeah, I saw it. No, this is another level.
We had him out already.
I don't even know who. Remember, I always said, oh, we can replace Shaka, get somebody better.
Always.
I don't know if that's the case anymore, you know? I don't know if I could be saying that anymore. It's a statement to him and his character for continuing doing what he's doing, but
Even his partner in the mid is doing some great work for you guys as well.
Party? Dude, he is. I told you, without him, we don't function like we function. But I mean, I can say about any player now at this point. But another player, Ben White, dude, this guy is is just
The
so
the
good.
the center back who looks like he's been playing right back for years.
Bro, I just it's like I feel like he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. I feel like he's so technical and so good that his game looks casual. It just looks like he doesn't do anything extra. But he makes runs off the ball. He opens up the field so much, and I just do not feel like he gets. I haven't heard anything about his price tag being mentioned ever again. 50 mil for Ben White? What the fuck? I haven't heard that at all. Ramsdale, haven't heard the price tag either. But I'm Ben White. Like this guy went from a center back to a right back, an inverted right back at that. Not just a right back. He's the one bombing on the field and playing inside in the midfield too sometimes. This guy's world class, bro. I'm sorry. He's only what 22 years old, 23 years old.
Yeah, and it's funny like how it went from this is gonna be temporary because we're gonna wait for Tomiyasu to come back to taking the spot from Tomiyasu, and now Tomiyasu is fighting for his spot with two other people on the left because nobody's gonna take that spot away from Ben White. He's doing a phenomenal job. Who wants to take it away from him?
It's kind of hard to say that we don't have depth, and you just mentioned all these players competing for positions, right?
Yeah.
The further you look up the field, then you see the holes there. But man, it's just it's great to see that the recruitment is paying off, proper recruitment. Nick, I want to bring it over to you real quick on Jesus because you made a big point that you made a point that he's not a goal scorer, which I think we're seeing now.
Yeah, he's not.
You know, we're not. What is it?
I'm still holding on to the goal.
He still has like what 10 or so like goal involvements in general between like 4 or 5 goals and like quite a handful of assists.
Exactly. So that's something that I kind of want to bring over to you. Like, how do you feel about obviously his goal contributions right now, but also the impact he's having on the team?
You know, I've always liked to say I don't think Jesus would be an out-and-out goal scorer, but what he provides, obviously, outside of goal scoring and even just providing assists is like probably some of the best work a forward could do in Europe at this current moment. Like what he values, at least off the ball, on the ball, in terms of linking up and creating. It's almost like Firmino. Like obviously, I saw this tweet. It was a Liverpool fan. He tweeted that. He just tweeted that Gabriel Jesus was a phenomenal player. And then like a lot of Liverpool fans said like, oh, but he doesn't score or whatever. But they also have to realize like Firmino, like as well, like, he didn't score as much even when he was in his prime. Like obviously there was this one stat where he scored like 13 goals in the 17-18 season. Even Firmino wasn't talked about his goal scoring. It's obviously his link-up play and his creating, not just with the actual assist. So I think that's what Gabriel Jesus is doing. That's why I don't think there's been some criticism about his goals and his missing of good goal scoring opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But what he brings on the other side is just like you can't match it. You know what I mean? So, and obviously it's paying out. Arsenal are playing phenomenally, and so until it affects Arsenal, that's where it becomes a problem. But at least right now, it hasn't become a problem. So
I definitely agree with everything you just said, and I would even add that if he wasn't getting those opportunities, then I'd be worried. But kind of like Darwin, he's getting the chances. It's just a matter of just are they gonna go in? If he can just get his the finishing touch just a little bit better, he'll get an extra 5 goals a season if that. Just because he's getting the opportunities. The opportunities are literally knocking on his door. He could have had arguably the goal of the season for Arsenal if he would have scored that header off of the whole build-up play from Martinelli. But his Jesus' involvement is next to none right now. He changed the squad around completely. Look at Lacazette. When he had no goals, he wasn't doing. We all said he was good at build-up, but like now we're seeing a different level of build-up. It's like wow. I thought Lacazette was good, like decent, but he was not good. Let's looking back, like damn, he really wasn't that good. We were surviving off of nothing with this guy. But we move on. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0. London is red. Oh man. The tides are turning back. The tables are turning again to the right way. We'll move on to good evening and good night. Aston Villa 3, Manchester United 1. Emery debut, second chance in the Prem with a league statement win. CR7 captain, but leading his team to 0 points.
he captained them?
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Wait,
I think we start off with that then. I think that's a good point.
Fernandez wasn't on the field?
He had accumulated 5 yellow cards, so
Oh, dumbass.
Exactly. And,
I mean, he argues like crazy.
De Gea
he
was
cries
the
a lot.
captain, really? I'm just looking at the lineup.
That
like the
is
most,
weird.
like,
Why? All right. So first, to start off, why was Ronaldo captain in your opinion?
First
And
off, continue. Sorry.
Why was he captain in your opinion? And second, did that have any implications on the team?
Also, before you answer that, why didn't we choose this one as a match to watch?
No respect. No respect. No respect.
Something
because
along
we
the
had
lines
just we had
of
just done United, so I didn't think we.
you did not say that day. You
Yeah,
said
I
something
did.
else.
Because we had just done.
I asked, yo, do you get this to be a new manager bounce? Nah, we'll win.
Yeah, I said
Oh,
3-0.
yeah,
I said
he
3-0.
Okay. That's what I wanted to go with. Okay, now continue. Sorry. There you go. My
No, I don't-
apologies.
I really don't know why he made that decision, but I don't know why. he did
Man,
it.
that's what
I,
we're
So
doing.
I don't have
it's
an,
just like
I don't have an answer to that. It was just
experience wise. You think that's why they did it?
Respect to Ronaldo,
respect,
maybe, or try to
um,
earn his his involvement into the club again.
Maybe
I think it might be that.
Maybe he cornered whatever his name is and said, "I want it, and you have to give it to me," kind of thing.
I think it might be what Eric said. So obviously, who's usually Maguire he didn't start.
Maguire's captain,
He's
and
the
then
one-
Fernandez
who
is
else?
after.
Fernandez didn't start.
yeah. Bruno's usually the captain.
And then obviously you're not gonna captain you're not gonna captain Ericsson. You're not gonna
Of
captain.
the-
Casemiro.
yeah, of the
if
people
Casemiro was
left.
there for like 3 years, you'd captain him.
Yeah,
Obviously,
of
he
the
just
of the
joined.
people that were left and that were able to play the game, it was either De Gea or Ronaldo.
And I think
I would
I
absolutely
agree,
say
but
De
I
Gea.
think maybe Ten Hag gave Ronaldo the captain to just be like, all right, I'm gonna give you the
bring
captain.
bring him
just
into
to-
the squad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the captain. I just want to see if that like motivates you more to just like keep going just because you have the captain armband. But obviously it didn't work out. So I think that's the reason why he gave.
Mm.
Ronaldo
He played
the
any
captain.
minutes?
Who?
Yeah,
Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Yeah, he started. He got the captain.
Yeah, he start. No,
did he
he's
play
PD.
90 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
pretty sure he did.
Yeah, he did.
And he got into a
Yeah.
whole fight with Mings too.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, looked very good that game.
We said if there's anyone, and Nick and I were in agreement. If there's anyone that's gonna
You look-
Oh,
prevail
you're right.
prevail under Emery, we
He
both
looked
agreed
good.
is gonna be fucking.
He did look a
Mings.
lot better. Buendia, bro, so annoying because he had opportunities, but whatever. United.
Oh, they were shit. They were just absolute shit. We definitely missed
Miss Bruno.
Bruno. We definitely missed Bruno because, and I was telling you when online as well. It's when Bruno's not there, Van de Beek just didn't have a great game. He's still.
Guy who was playing for you guys, honestly.
Yeah, I mean he just came back from a long injury. I forget what injury it was, but he just came back. It's a second start. He still doesn't have his legs underneath him. You can see that he was trying to create, like he did. He tried, a couple like fancy back heel passes, and you can see like he tried to poke certain balls like over. Like he tried to create, but he's just not feeling the game right now. So none of it just he was able to pull it off at all. And it just kept going right. He kept giving it away every single time. So when that's the case, then you pretty much rely on Ericsson to actually dictate the play and actually create those moments. It's Ericsson. There were plenty of times where like I don't know how he picks out these passes, but
So
he
good.
can't do it by himself. So like when Bruno's there, Bruno takes on a more of a free role, and he just goes everywhere. He finds the spaces anywhere on the pitch, and he creates off the ball just by where he is on the pitch, and then he gets the ball, and then he just creates the way we know he can. So when you put that responsibility just on Ericsson, he can't do it alone. So we were definitely missing Bruno, and everyone just had a really off game. I mean our best player is fucking Martinez.
And he got lucky not to walk away with the red card, in my opinion, bro. He swung an elbow
The elbow,
clear as day. And I'm
He
surprised
he
that wasn't
yeah,
called back for
I love watching him play.
VAR. I mean, he's
like
he's
he
that-
does
that
not like
fighter
he
everybody
had
needs.
he had some questionable moments like in the box, and he would go for it, and then I would just have my heart in my mouth. I'm like, what is he doing? But he
You
times
think
it
it's gonna
perfectly.
cost you guys any point? Or I mean, look, it's bound to.
It's
happen where he's
bound
in
to
it,
happen,
he
but
does it so well, so
He,
it's kind of
yeah,
hard.
it's
I-
like his decision making is just like he
He's
knows
Boucher.
when to do it.
Yeah.
He really is the butcher of Amsterdam. I fucking love this guy. Yo. He's great.
I want to ask you on Casemiro because watching him play, it's like I don't know how I want to feel about him because obviously I love him on Madrid and he's one of the best CDMs, and hearing his whole story as to how he became a CDM and his whole come up is interesting. But I also want to hate him because he's at United now too. But when I watch him play for you guys, it's there's times where he just gives the ball away like back to back to back to back to back,
And
then
then
he
10
fucking
seconds later,
he does an amazing
someone,
fucking
I think
tackle.
I read it somewhere on Twitter. I don't know. I don't know who it was, but it was someone from Real Madrid. I don't know if it was Ancelotti or I don't know. Someone said Casemiro plays the most ugly game of football and the most beautiful game of football all in one game.
Yeah, because you could have like a whole like 5 giveaways in bad areas, but then you will fucking come up with a crazy tackle, win the ball back, and
And
put somebody in
loft it.
position. It's like, oh man, it's aggravating because you see what he could do, but then you also see what he causes you in as far as like turnovers and everything. So
Yeah, I think if anything, I think Casemiro will probably cost us a little more than Martinez in that sense. In that sense, because he does give away a ball a lot, even though he does beautifully as
Yeah,
well in the
yeah.
same minute. But
yeah. So you're good. You're okay with him for now?
for right now, yeah,
Yeah,
because
he's
I mean,
good.
now that he's actually starting,
He's looking-
it's looking better.
Yeah.
It's looking better. But all overall, we were just shit. The end product was just not there.
I feel like Man United right now are kind of like on like a procession, bro. They take 2 steps forward and 1 backward. Like on every level, like you can't predict exactly how Man United's gonna do on any given game. Because 2 weeks ago we were talking about how good and
They're
how
back.
they're back, and like this one is like the fuck.
What was this?
Like what happened? Like,
Yeah,
I understand we have.
It was definitely the creativity that was obviously because we didn't score. It was an own goal or something. Like, it was
Yeah.
ridiculous. But as soon as the second half started, you can see the freaking Emery setup. It was that low ass block at one point. At several points, you can see there was 6 of them lined up, just asking us to try to break through that, and that's just frustrating.
So I think that's a good way. That's a good part to end it. And
Segue to the next one.
No, huh?
And segue to the next game.
No. As well, I mean, like, I'm gonna ask you one more question to end it, at least on what you're talking about, Emery breaking it up and actually creating a chance. And isn't that why you guys still have Ronaldo? And what is your? I mean, obviously you don't know what's gonna happen, but what do you think and what do you want to happen for Ronaldo now that we're entering what's gonna be the ending of the first half of the season? When the season kicks back up, we only have a few days until the transfer window, which most likely is going to be the one where he either stays or goes. What is your overall reaction to his performance this game, where he's supposed to be the leader, the creator, and the goal scorer? And what is happening after this?
Yeah, I think right now, assuming if he stays, I'm just hoping that he comes back motivated from the World Cup, regardless of what happens, how far he goes into the tournament. Like, I think I would hope and think he would come back motivated after just coming back from this big tournament, and now like he just needs to keep that fire going. If he leaves, then so be it. I mean, we can easily put Rashford up top. Martial is somewhat back. I blame him for us not doing well because he didn't wear his gloves, so that just that just set it off. But I mean, we have some options. Rashford has done great when we played him up top. We do need the likes of Anthony and Sancho back just so we have a little bit more depth.
Sancho's done shit for you guys,
Right? But at least we'll have some options. I love Garnacho getting another start. Promising young Argentinian.
I saw people talking shit about what Bruno said in the interview after the game. I thought it was just so stupid. Did you see it or no?
I know what you're talking about, yes, but I don't remember what the actual
was
I
so-
feel like I
wording
saw something
was.
like that.
Yeah, so Eric Ten Hag, I think, came out earlier, some time ago, saying that Garnacho changed his attitude around and just started training better. Now he's starting, and then Bruno said the same exact thing in the interview, but
Yes.
then all the media or the online YouTubers are just taking out one thing of what he said. Is like,
Yeah, that is the thing going around that's why Garnacho was left out of preseason because he
His
wasn't
attitude.
listening. His
Yeah.
attitude, he wasn't actually following what Ten Hag
Yeah.
was saying, and now supposedly
he's
he
looking
is.
good, man.
But him and James Garner, who unfortunately we ended up selling to Everton, were our two promising talents from the
Mhm.
academy, and I'm glad Garnacho played really well. So I'm glad to see him
Coulda
getting
had
into the
Martinelli
team.
too.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to see him getting his minutes. He's getting his confidence up, and he's going to be a good one for the future.
Yeah, definitely. So United don't walk away with 3 points as expected, but Emery has a great, promising start. We'll see how he continues going. Who do we have coming into the weekend? Any good game on their
Let me
part?
check.
While Nick
They
pulls that up.
face
New is it
Brighton.
new Brighton?
Oh,
yeah.
that's gonna be a good challenge for Emery.
Wait, no, they face United again this Thursday in the,
In the
Carabao
cup.
Cup.
In the cup.
That's funny.
Oh,
in the
that's-
cup.
At Old Trafford, and then they play Brighton on the weekend.
That's gonna be a good game. A good little tactical matchup for Emery. All right, and then we'll end it on the Spurs. Sorry, Tottenham Hotspur loss at home at the Toilet Bowl.
Tottenham get better.
Everywhere they go,
Tottenham get battered. Everywhere they go.
Everywhere they go.
But they ain't going anywhere. They just stayed at home.
They still got battered.
Anywhere they go, they can go home and still get battered, bro. But look, 2-1 to Liverpool. Salah and Darwin Magic has started to flare up a little bit here, looks like. And Salah is starting to look like his prime self again with a nice little cheeky finish over Lloris. Nick, you said a win for Spurs for Liverpool, right? Or
I said 2-2.
Did you realistically expect a draw, or was this more than what you were expecting?
I wasn't surprised with the win, but I did expect to see a draw as a result, just because both teams are in poor form. Liverpool haven't had an away game since then this season, and then obviously, like I said, Tottenham is poor form. So I expected a draw, but I wasn't surprised Liverpool won because obviously, Liverpool.
I was surprised that you guys did win because you guys just had somehow survived the onslaught at the end of the game.
Yeah, I
Soon
don't
as-
know.
As
Yeah.
soon as Kulusevski came on, I mean, we saw Kulusevski made that instant impact, but
Immediate.
that ending of the game, like I don't know how you guys walked away with that. It was night and day
Yeah.
for Tottenham Hotspurs.
I said on last episode, Tottenham Spurs, Liverpool Spurs is always funny because Tottenham always miss a ton of easy ass chances, and they never score them again. And Liverpool scored like some chance. It happens literally every game, especially away at their stadium or even at Anfield. They always miss easy ass chances, and then they somehow draw or lose the game.
The post and the crossbar were hit a few times in this one by
Yeah, I
Spurs,
know,
wasn't it?
They
I know
hit
it
it
was
more
one.
the times that they had opportunities, I think.
Shit, man, got the good stats in the
Mhm.
I love the stats roll today. I like it.
But no, I thought Liverpool played well the first half. Thought they were able to stretch Tottenham in terms of like Trent switching the ball over to Darwin and just Darwin attacking Emerson Royale. But then the second half, it just seemed like they just lost all technical consistency. Even like Thiago, that was one of the worst halves I've ever seen from him, where he just inability to just keep the ball, and then just a huge amount of pressure that Conte and Tottenham and they applied to Liverpool. I was very disappointed with Liverpool from that half, just because of the sheer I know Kulusevski came on, and obviously he's in their best 11, but even prior to Kulusevski, Paris and Kane, you shouldn't be getting threatened. Sessegnon, Ryan, Emerson Royale, that's just not, yeah.
He's so bad.
That's just not a team you should be threatened by, and just consistently just being hammered and hammered after chance by chance. So I was extremely disappointed with that second half, but I mean it's 3 points. It doesn't really show anything in terms of maybe this is a stepping stone for Liverpool. It was just a matter of all right, they won, but like I said, it's not a matter of all right. The reason
They're back.
because of this win they're back or whatever. So I'm not gonna say that.
Who do you guys going into the weekend?
Oh, Southampton with a new manager.
Oh, new manager
With an
bounce.
interim
We'll
manager,
predict
right?
that.
They didn't actually hire anybody yet, right?
don't
It's just
think
whoever
so.
the assistant is that's gonna take
We'll-
over.
We'll predict that if they have a new manager bounce for the next episode. But look, Liverpool remain in 8th place with that victory, right? It looks like
Yeah, I think so.
remain in 8th place with that victory. I kind of don't know where you guys are right now. Are you guys, like you said, this isn't a game where you would say you're back yet, but are you turning a corner? Is there a brighter light ahead? I'm reading reports that Bellingham is most likely going to Liverpool, especially with these new owners that you guys might be coming into play with. And how do you feel about that? 'Cause that's a whole other conversation we have to have here. As soon as that Champions League draw happens, FSG announced they're selling the club. I get it. Real Madrid's a scary team to go up against. But to sell the club, that's a little extreme for me. That's all I'm just saying.
To answer the first part of your question, do I think in terms of actually this season, I think they will vastly improve once they get their players back in terms of Luis Diaz. I don't know when Diego Jota comes back. Apparently, Klopp was very sad. I think he might come back late January, early February. But I
Wow.
think when Luis Diaz and I think this World Cup break will benefit Liverpool.
Mhm.
I think they will improve, but I don't know if they will improve to like vastly make like the point difference between maybe them and whoever's in third. Is it? I believe it's probably still Tottenham,
Newcastle.
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 Yeah.
Shit, that's crazy.
That's crazy, dude. That's
But
crazy.
I do think they'll improve after the World Cup break. Whether it's enough to improve to actually be third or fourth, I don't know. But in terms of actually improving on what they're actually playing right now, I think they'll improve it. And if they do acquire someone in January, I think they'll definitely improve. And then on the second part, in terms of FSG, I'm looking to sell the club. I said on last episode, I don't think I said it before that I was like FSG should go or whatever, but like come to think of it is now like they're not bad owners at all. Like I said, they saved the club from administration. Liverpool are probably the top 2, top 1 best financially ranked club in the world right now. Like they have zero to little debt right now at all. And they just kept the club above. It's self sufficient. It's self sustainable. It doesn't really have to do it. They haven't provided any of their money for the last 4 years. They're basically just running off what the club makes. If that makes sense. And at least in my opinion, I think if owner new does come in, I just want them to be more. I want them to apply like the same like not sell to buy, but the same like recruitment policy and the whole same like I guess wage bracket, as you can say, to keep players in check. What FSG did, but I want the new owners to just become that tad bit more ambitious. Like if FSG provided that like 80%, I want the next owners to provide that 85%.
Mm.
So I wouldn't say in terms of like I just want the new owners to just be a tad more ambitious and like that one more signing Liverpool needs to just like get that bit over at least in the past what would be Man City. So in terms of news, at least I'm content just because I'm excited to see what Liverpool can do if they get an owner who is just like a tad bit more ambitious and are still smart. So yeah,
Hmm. That news to me came out of nowhere today.
yeah. What's that?
Isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. I heard rumors that some Oilers are the ones that are interested in buying.
Oilers.
Yeah, it's if I'm
more
mistaken.
more
Oh,
oil
Emirates.
more oil
Sorry,
money.
Emirates,
More
Emirates,
oil
Emirates,
money.
Emirates,
More
Emirates.
oil
Same
money.
shit.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I believe in like 2018 or 2017, one of their princes, one of Saudi princes or UAE or Dubai or Abu Dhabi, they put in a bid for Liverpool, and I think it was like a 3 billion offer, and they got rejected. And there's been the thing that, in my opinion, I don't think reports usually with Liverpool and like in terms of actually signing players like Luis Diaz and Fabinho, when reports come out like in the following days, the signing gets announced. And Liverpool, they usually keep a tight ship when it comes to signing. So I'd assume it applies to this news as well, where David Ornstein receives this news. And at least in my opinion, I think I think they'll probably sell the club in the next. Like it could be during this World Cup break, so I do think it'll be fast. One of the reasons why I do think they'll look to sell this club is I know they surpassed Man United in terms of like value or whatever, something like that. I think they reached its peak, and B, I think the collapse of the Super League really highly resulted in them doing this because I think they were banking. Same thing as Chelsea as well. One of the reasons why Abramovich sold the club, obviously, the Ukraine thing aside, and then the was it the freezing of the
Assets.
no what's the actual word where the sanctions.
Oh,
There
the
we go.
sanctions. Okay.
It was that and also the collapse of the Super League because a lot of clubs, obviously, I think Barcelona as well were banking on a Super League as well, and the collapse of that just kind of fucked
So was
everything
Juve.
up. And then Juve as well, and then Liverpool with John W. Henry, he was like one of the front runners as well. I believe it was them and Real Madrid, who was like the front like leaders, who were the ones who like basically created it or whatever. I think those two reasons are the reasons why I think they are open to selling the club. So yeah.
Damn. Well, I was talking to Edgar about this earlier, and I asked him, the question that everybody's gonna eventually ask a Liverpool fan if it is one of these countries, a state that takes over, and he's like he doesn't know how he feels about it. Obviously from the political standpoint. At the end of the day, I told him we all talk shit about Newcastle, Man City, PSG, but we would love to have their owners have that extra cash coming in so you can get the players that we all dream of. So. I think it's more jealousy than anything else.
It's funny it's funny with Liverpool because I think if it was any other club like for example like PSG prior to being bought by Qatar, obviously I think they were made in the 70s. They were still traditionally obviously Ronaldinho, like very vintage, but they weren't like on the terms of like Man United, Liverpool, and all these other clubs around Europe. And then obviously before City got bought, they weren't really anything as well. And then obviously Newcastle, they're obviously traditionally big. Newcastle side, they have huge amounts of tradition, but PSG and City aside, well, Liverpool now is just the whole working class people pretty much made up the club. It's like the morals and traditions. Like it's very it's a very touchy subject among like the Liverpool fan base, which I've received on socials because you have like one section of fan base where like, oh, the club since it was ever made in 1892 has been like founded upon just like hard working class people who just stuck to their morals and principles, and you have the other half where they wouldn't mind a state owned or state backed thing to own the club. So it's a very like tricky debate or whatever. My take is on it is just like I think I was listening to a Liverpool space today, and one of the guys compared that any billionaire isn't clean, which I agree as well. But and he used the term of like if this billionaire if one person murders one person and another person murders two people, kind of the same thing. But my take was on it is that like, okay, I know, for example, FSG, the Kroenkes, Glazers, Arm, they're not clean at all. They've done some shady stuff, obviously, to get to they are. But that doesn't compare to human rights abuse and the murdering and the ethnic cleansing of millions of people and thousands of people in their countries. So it's like comparing someone like, okay, compare someone committing the
white collar crime
like,
versus genocide.
Yeah, like someone committing the act of fraud to someone committing like murder and rape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't really, obviously I'm not comparing like those two crazy things, but like, you know what I mean? Like you just can't compare that. Like obviously they're both dirty, but one's more dirty than the other.
No, 100%.
So,
Yeah.
So
the lesser of two evils.
Exactly. So, I mean,
that's a conversation we'll have when I guess the new owners do get announced, if they get announced soon. But we'll see. Who cares? You guys are going to be good regardless. So, Brentford drawn to Nottingham Forest 2-2. Wolves losing to Brighton 3-2. And West Ham losing to Crystal Palace 2-1. Sorry, and Southampton losing to Newcastle 4-1. That being Ralph, I can't pronounce his last game.
Hasenhüttl.
Hasenhüttl, thank you.
Yeah, halfway through the Spurs Liverpool game, they were talking about it during the halftime that there were reports that it was about to get announced. That's
apparently it was pre-planned. Like, they've been like already like getting rid of a lot of backroom staff already, and he was like the last one to go. So we'll see what happens with St. Mary's. But yeah, they got rid of their manager. So that is the next one that got on the chopping block. Did we have a song for that? I thought we had a song.
Which one?
Like when anytime somebody got sacked.
I feel like we do, but it's not.
Or not a song, but we just like would like imitate a song. I forget. We'll figure one out. But look, I think that's all we have for the Premier League Game Week 15 recap. Nick has some predictions to give us a quick update on. Dyer is not here again, so we cannot give him this trophy, his belt.
ALV.
So I think we'll just like
asterisk. That's why there's an asterisk.
We'll just take it away from him this time around. Guess let's do his punishment though. That's a given.
Yeah, so
there's no asterisk next to mine. So that's fine. There's an asterisk next to him. So.
What game week are we walking into?
16.
Walking into 16. This past week was Game Week 15.
Okay.
Yeah. So the three games we predicted last week were Spurs versus Liverpool, Chelsea versus Arsenal, and Everton versus Leicester. And for the Spurs-Liverpool one, only two people got points. That was Diego and Gat for getting the Liverpool win correct. Everyone else got zeros.
Fucking Spurs, bro.
For Chelsea-Arsenal, Gat, Eric, and Marco each got 1 point for predicting an Arsenal win. Everyone else 0. And for Everton-Leicester, Marco, Eric, and Diego got 1 point for predicting a Leicester win. So,
what was the score I gave?
For what?
For Everton-Leicester?
You gave 2-0 Everton.
What was the scoreline?
2-0 Leicester.
You just said I got a point.
Oh, no, you didn't. Sorry.
Nah, bro.
It was Marco.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was myself. I didn't even give credit to myself.
Nah,
Marco,
there's some shady scorekeeping.
No, it is.
There's some shady.
You just read it wrong.
It was Marco, myself, and
Diego.
Who each got a point. So Game Week 15 roundup. Marco, Gat, Diego with 2 points. Nico and Eric with 1 point, and Dyer with 0.
Yeah, just take the belt from him now. Might as well. But
so are we going to? Does that make 5 weeks right now or not?
No, Game Week 17.
Game Week
17 would have been 5 weeks.
17 would be Boxing Day, no?
Okay.
So
it's gonna be a new title holder by New Year's.
my New Year's,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Pretty much.
Oh,
I'll take
man,
it.
My man's already taking it. That's crazy.
I mean, I'll take it as
No,
if,
no.
but I'll also take it.
All right. Well, look, that's all we have for today. Do you guys have anything else you want to get off your chest? Anything else you want to go over real quick?
I do want to say, I want to ask one thing
What's
is who do you think has it harder? Because I don't think we're going to talk about it that much next week. Now that you mentioned it multiple times throughout the podcast, the Champions League draft, like
That's the hardest one.
who has it? Who has the biggest battle? You think Liverpool has it?
Like in terms of club or in terms of like the team?
Just in
or-
general, the versus. I think there's a final recap. There's a final rematch, which is PSG Bayern Munich. There is another one.
With
There's
Real Madrid and
I think it's
Liverpool.
Benfica Inter. We got
No, I think it's Porto Inter.
Porto Inter.
So Milan, Tottenham.
I feel like it's
PSG,
like
Bar-
every single match is
Has been repeated.
no. It's
Oh.
even
So we
even
got
up except for the Man City one.
So we got Milan, Spurs, PSG, Bayern, Borussia, Chelsea, Club Brugge, Benfica, Liverpool, Madrid, Frankfurt, Napoli, Inter, Porto, and Leipzig, Man City.
If you look
one's
at that,
Man City's.
Right. Every single one of them to me looks a little even except for the Man City one.
The most even one, in my opinion, I think, will be Tottenham Milan, just because I think Milan have a really nice team, and I don't know which Tottenham will turn up. So
Milan got Giroud, and he's knowing him. He's gonna knock out Spurs just because he played for both Arsenal and Chelsea. So
yeah, that I think that tie is probably going to be the most interesting one. Not in terms of watching, because no one wants to watch Tottenham and Conte in Europe, but in terms of actual like balance, it's probably like 50-50 or 51-49 in someone's favor.
PSG, Bayern though.
Yeah, that is balanced. I'd probably say Bayern is a tad bit better, but obviously PSG.
But I mean, the fact
Have-
that you're even saying that to
Yeah.
me, it's like it's pretty even. Every
I'd
match,
I'd say
Yeah.
every match is even.
I think
not like
the
an
only
Except for the
ones
Man
that
City
I
one.
would say that are pretty one-sided are the Man City one and probably the Napoli one. I would give Napoli the
Yeah.
easy win over Frankfurt. Inter Porto looks pretty interesting. Porto aren't too bad.
Frankfurt wants to roll over though, so I'm keeping an
They
eye
won't
on
roll
that
over, but
one.
Napoli are just
Yeah,
so
Napoli
good right
Napoli
now.
will win.
So good right now. It's hard to not put them up there, but damn, who has the hardest draw? Oh, who do you think?
I have the Man City one.
No,
The
I mean,
hardest.
the hardest. That
Oh, for Leipzig.
for Leipzig, yeah.
Oh,
Doesn't have the hardest.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
But
definitely, I
like the
would say
most
so.
interesting, I want to see the Liverpool is gonna be the Liverpool Real Madrid. To me, it's gonna be a very interesting match to watch.
100%.
Mostly because that was the final the last one, and then there was a previous final already right here, which
Mhm.
is the PSG Bayern Munich one. Two finals,
Was
Yeah,
that February?
February.
February
Yes, that is correct.
2020?
I would
That's,
agree
that's
with
like
you.
that's like.
But not
ages
only
away.
that, then the European side for the playoffs, you got Barcelona versus Man United.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Of course, it's fucking rigged. The
At least
whole
there's no Messi to,
Frankie
torment you.
De Jong
Yeah,
saga,
full circle.
trying to sign him. He wanted Champions League. He ends up being in Europa League anyway, and he ends up coming to Old Trafford anyway to play us
Yeah.
Nah,
in the second leg. It's fucking
It's full
ridiculous.
circle.
you know what would have been the
And-
ultimate?
Well, but real quick, just since we're on that topic, Diego and I actually just found out the Europe is only 3 yellow cards get you suspended, and Lisandro Martinez is suspended for that first game
Oh,
away to
shit.
Barcelona.
Oh,
Which, I mean, all things considered, I'd rather him not be
At
at
Barcelona
Barcelona, of
than at
course.
Trafford.
So
Yeah.
let's seal the knockout at home when he is
Yeah.
actually playing. So that it's gonna suck.
I was gonna say it would have been the ultimate downfall if Messi would have stayed at Barca. Not saying Messi has completely declined, but obviously not the same player he was.
Yeah, of
But
course,
just like
yeah,
the two
that's-
clubs, like in Europa League,
Ronaldo,
like 10
and
years ago,
Messi.
being in Champions League finals, and then like Messi, Ronaldo, just in Europa League, that would have been like.
Oh, Ronaldo
crazy.
gets so much shit walking into the camp now, and it's crazy. But I know we've had this question before, but again, I'm sorry, you kind of opened the Pandora's box. right
I
now.
kind of did. I expected it.
I know we had this before. But quick reminder: what leg do you prefer, home or away? Second, or which one do you want to have first, and which one do you want to have second?
Away and then home.
You want to play away first, and then home first, second?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how Madrid won the Champions League last season.
Yep.
Every game, PSG, Chelsea, and City.
We've always
Second
done
leg
better
was
when
home.
we are away first and then
Yeah.
home at home after.
How do you feel about this one?
I know the last time it was asked, I was in the camp of just do home first. That way you just
Knock
close it out. Just close it out right there, and then it's not as much work that you'll have to do
Yeah.
in the second leg. So I'm gonna stick to that.
Okay.
I mean, the rule went away with the home and away goal, so
Yeah.
it no longer exists, so no longer applies. But I feel like there's more comfort knowing that The
You're-
second half,
yeah.
you get if you screwed up in the first one, you get the chance to
At
not
home.
only do it
Right,
at
but
home,
but if you
get-
screwed up in the first one, now you have even more pressure in front of your own fans.
But
and now
that's
you
that.
gotta-
But you
That's
have
motivation.
you have the home field advantage. Even though
Yeah,
the goals don't
exactly.
count, you have that 12th player on the field, which is
The referee.
fans.
Oh, the fans. Yeah.
the referee. Depending on the team, it could. You never know.
No, I 100% agree with you. I think the first leg, yeah, try to get the job done away. If you can't, and you do
Bro.
go behind at home, the expectation of your fans is to get behind you, to push you to get the result you need.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Real Madrid, we lost away at Chelsea. We
Yeah.
lost at home. We lost away. No, we
The-
won
all-
away at Chelsea
all
and we
three.
lost
All
at
three
home.
games,
City.
PSG, Chelsea, and
City.
City. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then at home, they just fucking clinched it up and won it.
And if you think about it, like some of the best comebacks in Champions League history, like Tottenham and Ajax apart, they're all at home. Like Liverpool.
No. But for that Chelsea one, I think we won at their house and they beat
Oh,
us
you
at
did.
our house.
You did. I forgot about that. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so that was the only
Oh,
difference.
you're right,
but it wasn't
enough
But it was
for
a goal. It was
goals,
a
that's
goal
right.
difference. You
That's
scored
not
one more.
achievable.
For
Benzema hat trick at the bridge, where he scored
Yeah.
back-to-back hat tricks. But I mean, yeah, even like throughout Champions League history, like Liverpool, Barca, Liverpool were at home, and then Barca, PSG, Barca were
Mhm.
at home for that 6-1. So and I'm sure there's
Mhm.
countless others as well.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so I think we'll end it there. That's the brief Champions League conversation we'll have. Let us know which draw you think is the hardest, one-sided or most even. Which one are you looking forward to the most? And what leg do you want to play in the Champions League final if it came down to it? Home away, home first, or home second? Away first, away second. Let us know. Again, we are the Bench Warmers, the Bench with the Voice, where the bench is always warm. Peace, everybody.